Hi everyone, it's Mark Sanders, and I'm here to talk to you about the beautiful intricacies of the sport of baseball and why it's a sport of not just athleticism, but also a sport that requires a lot of mental skill. Not a lot of sports require you to be strong mentally. Basketball requires a lot of athleticism. Football is almost entirely athleticism. Baseball, you could be a non-athlete at all. You could have almost zero athletic ability, but still be a good baseball player, because a lot of guys don't succeed off of their physical talents; they succeed off their mental talents and how they're able to analyze situations and even analyze whole games before things even happen. That's a skill not a lot of players have. And so, the four things I want to talk to you about today is how baseball and at times can combine the two games, chess and the sport of ballet, because like I said, you have to be able to analyze moves and plays and hitters and pitchers and all that before you even make a move. And when it comes to the ballet aspect, some players are required to make a lot of amazing plays that you can't practice. Running into a wall to snag a fly ball or rob a home run or dive in the gap to catch a line drive before it hits the ground. Those are things you can't practice and you can't teach. You can teach some mental parts of the game, just like you can teach someone how to play chess and teach them how to analyze moves. It's the same thing. And also, another reason why I wanted to bring this up is to talk about the success of the game. People assume that if you hit a home run or you strike somebody out or you make an amazing play, that's a success. And that's true, but that's not the only success. You can also be successful striking out. You can also be successful getting out, laying down a sacrifice bunt, moving a guy from first to second, you being out, and people will say, why are people excited this guy got out? No, what he did was move the guy from first base to scoring position, and there's only one out now, versus hitting into a double play, and now you have two outs and nobody on. That's one of the biggest things about baseball a lot of people don't understand is success is not just about whether you got a hit or you didn't, or you struck somebody out or you didn't. That's the key thing about baseball. Almost not a lot of people know. So the first thing I want to talk about is just the pitchers and hitters. The fielders will come later. Pitchers and fielders are in a constant physical and mental battle, mostly mental, because they're all at this point they all know how to swing and they all know how to throw a pitch. A pitcher typically faces 20 to 27 hitters a game, depending on how well he's pitching that day, how hard is he throwing, how many hitters is he getting out, how many hitters are hitting his pitches, etc. So pitchers already are analyzing all the hitters they face. Okay, I got this guy out on this pitch. Let's try that again. Let's see if he's adjusted. The hitter is thinking the same thing on the flip side. He got me out on this pitch. More than likely he's going to throw it to me again. I have to adjust. And that's something that once you get to a certain level, everybody knows how to do. I'm talking about the major league level. All hitters know how to analyze a pitcher. All pitchers know how to analyze a hitter. And that's why it's so much harder to hit at higher levels, because once you reach a certain point, let's say high school level, usually if you are a great player, once you've reached high school, you've typically peaked at your athletic ability. That's not a negative thing, but that doesn't mean you've stopped growing. That means you've picked up every physical talent you physically can. Your hitting is where it should be, and your fielding is where it should be. What grows from that point is your mental abilities. And if it doesn't, then you've fallen off the path, and you won't be playing the game much longer. So next is the fielders out in the field behind the pitcher, waiting for him to make his pitches and face his hitters. They're analyzing what pitches he's throwing and what hitters he's facing also, because they have to position themselves on the field to get ready for any specific play that comes their way. So if he's throwing if he's a right-handed pitcher, right-handed hitter, and he's throwing a lot of pitches on the outside, players on the right side of the field will be prepared more than players on the left side, because they're thinking, okay, he's going to be late because he's throwing it on the outside half of the plate. They're going to wait a little bit, swing, and if they make contact, it's coming this way, so we need to be prepared. That's why, with all these factors at play, baseball is compared to chess. The ballet aspect is like I said, making the athletic plays, diving in the gap, robbing a home run, those types of things. And those things you can't teach. And I said before, hitting is the hardest thing to do in a sport. Hitting a baseball. And a lot of people say, how hard could it be? They're just throwing it out there and you swing. It's not that simple. We're talking going back to analyzing. Hitters have to analyze their pitcher before they even get in the box. Typically, the philosophy I like to live by is a hitter has 2 to 3 at-bats before his or her actual at-bat at the plate facing the pitcher. They're sitting in the dugout watching their teammates hit. And then when the teammates come in after they've succeeded or they didn't, they ask them, what pitches did you see? How do they get you out? How are they attacking your weaknesses? And knowing your own weaknesses, you're thinking, okay, this pitcher's going to attack those weaknesses as well. The next is on the on-deck circle, waiting to go up to the plate. You're getting your timing down. You're mentally facing that pitcher. You're mentally in the batter's box as your teammate before you is. And then, of course, the next is the batter's box. So you could assume that spectacular outcomes of plays mean that a player was successful in any given situation, hitting a home run or all that. That's really not the case. Hitters can succeed even if they don't get on base because they can move guys over from base to base, get them in scoring position, or hit a fly ball, get out, and score. Score a guy from the next base. So, unfortunately, that's all the time I have. There's so much more to talk about baseball that I couldn't just condense it to the 5-7 minute format that I was given. That's not a complaint. It's just that's how interesting baseball is. So I thank you all for your time, and hopefully maybe in the future I can expand on this subject.